Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday and happy Halloween. I am your host, Richard LaRocco, and my amazing co-host, Miss Pauline Raffaella. How are you doing, Pauline? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you, Richard. I'm doing well. This isn't a day where energetically for someone like me who runs energy, and I know lots of people who feel this way. It's kind of like a little, it's like a little eerie. But it's all okay. I was going to maybe put my costume on today, but decided not to.
It was really funny for me, and people say, "Oh, you have to, as a medium, you have to love Halloween." And I got to tell you, even when I was a little kid, it never resonated with me. Even if you were going to bribe me with Kit Kats and Reese's peanut butter cups, it never just kind of resonated with me. But I appreciate people that do, and I know this is to some, this is their Christmas, this is their Thanksgiving,
Right,
this is the highlight of their year. And
right.
and for everyone out there, happy Halloween.
Yes,
And may it be safe and prosperous and all of the candy that you like.
yes. And some costumes really are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, some costumes are really terrific. So, yes, it's a day that I kind of like to lay low. So that's what I do.
I get it. I get it. So real quick, Pauline, so what's your favorite candy? I know that was out of left field.
It was definitely out of left field. I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember what I used to eat as a kid. I didn't eat a lot of candies. I can tell you one of the things I just love chocolate and butter crunch.
Like a Butterfinger?
No, butter crunch from like a chocolatier. I don't eat. I would say if I had to pick a favorite when I was younger, it was Snickers.
Got it. So what about now? What about
But
your inner child now?
butter butter crunch and chocolate truffles.
Ooh, I love it. And do you have a particular chocolatier?
I do. 2 minutes down the road from me, right in Locust Valley, I go and I get a bag sometimes of mixed dark chocolate truffles, cinnamon, mint, Grand Marnier.
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
What about you? What did you like out of the candy jar?
Very simple. I loved, and I was not a Snickers fan at all, ever. Or Three Musketeers or all that. Snickers, the Reese's peanut butter cups,
Uh-huh.
Butterfinger, and here's the sleeper, Twix.
Oh, yeah, I ate those. Yes. Yep.
You know? Now, do I, my all-time favorite, kind of in your wheelhouse, right? Because I like the good stuff too, the stuff that's crafted without all the chemicals and all the stuff but I love my mom for my birthday used to always get me chocolate covered cashews.
Oh, delicious.
The huge, and she would go to Kilwins, and I know they're kind of a national chain of Kilwins chocolatiers, and she would go and get a pound of uh big cashews with milk chocolate. Oh my gosh, chef's kiss. Like it was unbelievable.
Sounds delicious.
Yes, yes. So, for everyone out there, post in the comments what's your favorite candy. We want to hear from you.
Oh,
What
I
do
love
you
that.
like? If you were to go Halloween trick-or-treating right now, what would you love in your Halloween bag? Right? So put in the comments what's your favorite candy.
Oh, I love
Um,
it.
yeah. So let's get into universally speaking. We have a lot going on. A lot going on. So what is going on astrologically, energetically, universally?
Yes. So our universally speaking segment. So there's so much going on, and of course, we don't have time to talk about everything that's going on. But one of the most important things right now to think about or remember is to realize that we are in Scorpio season. This is your season, Richard. It's the Scorpio, dark, murky, secretive, be very careful season.
That's me.
That's it.
That's me.
Okay, so we're in Scorpio, and tomorrow, 11/1, very interesting, 1/1/1, 11/1, right, is all about new beginnings. We happen to have a new moon in Scorpio tomorrow. New moon in Scorpio tomorrow. What does this mean? So, new moons are all about asking for what you want, new beginnings, bringing things in, right? Putting out to the universe what you want. But because it's in Scorpio, it's, the desire is intense, and the new moon is going to first make you go down into the murky water and push you down in there and make you look at what is in the way. All right. What's blocking it? It's going to force you to go down deep into your emotions, into your shadow, because that is Scorpio. Okay, that is Scorpio. If it was a new moon in Sagittarius, I'd be saying, you know what? You're going to be happy for no reason. You're going to be silly, stupid for no reason. But it's not that. It's Scorpio. And
Yeah.
so Scorpio is it can be a death and rebirth sign, and it is ruled by Pluto, which is the planet of transformation. So this new moon is really going to bring in new things, transformation of the old. And we've been talking so much about, the planets, how they're moving through our personal lives, how it's moving through in this country. And so there's going to be a lot of little chaos and breaking down as a result of this moon. And one of the astrologers I follow, I love him, Joseph Anthony. To quote him, he said, this moon is, quote, point of no return, unquote. So just to give you an idea of what to expect, for the first half of November, that's what it's going to be. So be prepared.
I love it. I love it. Now, you mentioned about manifesting, creating, ask for what you want, all of this. When's a good time to do it? How do you do it? And like, is there any, like, when is the best time that people need to get out there and start manifesting or creating what they want and how they want it to look?
So I love that question. Well, first of all, tomorrow is the new moon. So start writing down the things that you want. And because Scorpio is a psychic sign, use the imagination and begin to envision it. Envision that you already have it. Envision that you're working toward it. Envision the pathway to what you want or who you want to be, or whatever that is see it as like I'm on the yellow brick road and I'm walking it, and there is my goal and I'm walking it. Use the imagination, because that energy is the first steps of manifesting, creating, is to first envision it.
So we can do this at any time tomorrow, or what is,
Anytime tomorrow, even over this whole weekend. I always feel the moons are the most powerful on the day, even the full moons. However, there is a little grace period before and after. Sorry about that. Before and after. So it does, if you can't do it tomorrow, don't worry. So do it on Saturday.
I
The
love it.
new moon is still very powerful. Very, very powerful. Few days before to a few days afterwards, best time to do it.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, I'm going to be there because, and the one thing, that people don't also realize is that November, actually starting today through November 2nd, is All Souls Day or All Saints Day. and where we honor our loved ones and things of that nature too in that vibration. So, if you ever wanted to connect, forget about the Halloween component, but they say during this time that the veil is very thin and we can feel and connect with our loved ones the way we want.
I love
Without going to a medium and Scorpio, I am a Scorpio. My birthday is November 9th. It's next Saturday. I'm going to be 23. So, not
counting
bad for,
backwards.
you know, um,
That's
but
great.
yeah, it's definitely a great time, being a medium also, it is a very psychic, t dialed in sign. So,
Yeah.
everybody tonight or tomorrow, I want you to go out there and make the list. Make the list of really what you want. And I talk to people when you go to manifest, if you had the genie in the bottle, what would it be? And think big sometimes. Think
Yes.
big. How do you want a relationship to look? How do you want that job to look? How do you want, maybe the love of your life? What character is not just physical, but having a sense of humor, being a safe space, being my best friend, whatever characteristics, now's the time. And that's how it works, you
Yes.
know?
And follow up your desires, what the things that you want with affirmations of I open my heart to receive and I deserve. Very, very important. Those are two aspects of the what people forget. Well, why isn't this why aren't things working for me and I'm putting out there? We really have to open the heart to receive and to feel worthy and deserving of what we're asking for. So add that little piece to at the bottom of your list, whatever you write. All right. My heart is open to receive A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? I am worthy to receive A, B, C, D. I am okay, very important.
Yeah, that's a great point. People need to affirm, what they ask for. They need to affirm and know that you deserve. And that's a lot of things. People don't ask because they don't feel worthy. They
Mhm.
don't feel like, well, I got this job or I really want to find this person, but, I'll just take this or I'll do a lot of self-worth. So now's the time. Go big, go home and think about it and affirm it like it can happen because it can happen and it can manifest.
Yes, it can.
So it's a
Yes.
big, big, big thing. And take the time.
Yeah.
Take
And
the time.
all the energy that is forthcoming, especially as we get into 2025, it is all about moving forward. And we will talk about all of this as Pluto goes into Aquarius. This is all about moving forward. I love what Joseph Anthony said at the point of no return. That's it. We're not going back. We're moving forward into higher timelines. And so this is the time to step up.
Yeah. Well, we got some comments about candy.
All right, let's hear it.
Um, So we actually have Charlie, which we both know Charlie.
Hi,
He
Charlie.
goes, he just said, I had a Reese's. I like how you think, Charlie, my man. And then we have Michael, our friend Michael. Good afternoon, love. Hello, Richard. Nestle Crunch Bar, Twizzlers, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Oh, now I know what was in your little pumpkin holder there, Michael, when we were kids.
Yep. And my
That's
mom's my mom's favorite was Twizzlers and Raisinets. Oh,
Mhm.
for me it was like I couldn't stand either one, but she loved Twizzlers and Raisinets. What was your mom's favorite candy or your
Well,
dad's favorite candy if they had it?
my mom was not a big person, but she liked the red Twizzlers, the red licorice.
Yes.
That's what she liked. A little bit of that. My parents weren't really big candy eaters. But she ate the red Twizzlers, yes. And
That
I
was
will
my
admit
mom's.
too, Nestle's Crunch Bars, those were pretty good too. I could polish off one of those pretty easy.
I like the Mr. Good bar, the chocolate with the nuts.
Yeah.
I love nuts in my with milk chocolate. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm a little nuts. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All
Not to
right.
that. Okay,
So let's get into we go from dessert to the meat and potatoes. Let's
here we
get
go.
into so one of the things today we're going to talk about all things dream related.
Hmm.
I get this a lot of times, and I'm sure you do, Pauline, with your clients, where they have very profound dreams that make no sense whatsoever, right?
Correct.
No sense. And they're
Yep.
telling you, and this happened and that happened. And you sit back, if you're like me, you sit back and you know right away. You can see right through. And they're like, does this mean I saw a cardinal and it's got to mean this? And or I saw this and it has to be my dad, or and you're like, yeah, no. Now, people think that a lot of times our dreams that happen, they take it in the literal sense. You and I were often we were talking about this beforehand, how
Mhm.
it's sometimes they try to make sense and interpret what it is literally,
Right.
and it's never that.
Well, it's never that, and you can never interpret it literally, because if you have a dream that there's a 1950 car in your driveway and your neighbor's house is pink and you see a cat on top of the car, there's no way to interpret that rationally, logically, linear. No, it's all symbolism. And so what you and I do is we pick apart the dream symbolically and then put it together with a whole different meaning. And what is the result? What is the result or the response from the person? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes.
I never thought of it that way. I never saw it that, but that makes sense, right?
Yep.
Because we have to interpret our dreams. At least these are standard dreams. Um, mostly symbolically. But there's another way we talked about, okay? And that's the mirror, all right? That's the mirror. But finish up on symbolically first, right? Everything has a symbolic meaning
Yes.
in
So
the dream.
one of the things I think people really need to understand when we dream, okay, a lot of things start to happen. Okay. One, we can experience when let's just go to sleep. Okay. So when we sleep, we're recharging the body, we're healing the body. The body is starting to go into kind of like the standby mode or the logging off, so that the subconscious can
Right.
kind of like do what it needs to do. The physical body kind of starts to rest, and we get to do what we need to do, whether that is download. Okay. And what is a download? It's literally information or things that you need to, your soul or subconscious needs to experience, is that, we start understanding. It's kind of like the movie The Matrix, where Keanu Reeves sits in the chair and they plug something in the back of his head. Next thing you know, he knows Kung Fu. Now, to that extreme, probably not, but people have had very profound downloads. And they said, well, I didn't even know that beforehand. And how do I know it now? Well, here we are, right? That's kind of like a download. Have you ever had a download, Pauline?
I have to go back. Well, yes. What, because I travel in dimensions, but I want to just stay on the dream thing for 1 minute.
Sure.
There's messages in the dreams. Okay, your
Oh, yeah.
subconscious is trying to speak to you, right? And it's
Yes.
giving you messages in while you're in the dream state. And that's because the ego mind is out of the way because you're asleep. So the dream is oftentimes um, processing things that have happened to you, and you're getting messages about what you need to address or what you need to look at or what you need to open up to. So So that is sort of like the standard dream state. So getting downloads of information in the dream state, oftentimes you wake up and you have a new awareness. It's like you have a new awareness of something. Could be about yourself, could be about what's coming next. So yes, the downloads come like that. I experienced it so many times, but I can't describe it because it happened a lot as I was traveling through dimensions when I sleep. Yeah.
No, we're going to talk about that too. So we get downloads. We also astral travel. We lucid dream. But when we have dreams, what it is, like Pauline said, it's our subconscious talking to us.
Right.
It is kind of like a big game of charades, Pictionary, and it is trying to communicate and give us messages for the conscious mind to understand what the subconscious needs us to know. And literally, it's never what it appears. I'm gonna put that out there. And you're like, well, how the heck do I figure this out? Well, you kind of have to take bit by bit and go through. And that's why sometimes even kind of learning about dream interpretation, but sit back with the neutral minds and kind of observe. One of the things I do is if you remember it, jot it down right away.
Oh, yeah.
Jot it down right away. Okay. And one of the things also to pay attention to is that a lot of times it's very realistic. It feels like you are there. And when it's there, it is an experience.
Well, though, in my view, those are the lucid dreams, the clairvoyant dreams. When you are dreaming and you feel like you are physically experiencing it, you are on some other level.
Yes.
Yeah, you are. And those can be considered very lucid dreams. People have had many of those dreams. A deceased loved one comes to visit you in a dream, and in the dream you're sitting at your dining room table having coffee with them, right? And those are lucid dreams. That's really happening soul to soul.
Yeah, that's a visitation.
Yes.
When you connect with a loved one and it is that strong and you feel like I hugged them and I felt like they hugged me back,
Yes.
that is a visitation. That is not a dream. That really did occur because your mind, the left brain has calmed down, has quieted enough for your soul to receive the message. So when I do a reading, I kind of kick the left brain out. I operate in the right brain. And that's kind of what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. So if it feels very lucid, it is real.
Mhm.
It is real. So you can experience a lucid dream and not have somebody come and visit you, but feel like you're walking in a field of lavender flowers, or you're walking down the street of some city, right? But you don't know exactly where it is. It's all symbolic. It's real. Your soul is experiencing that, and it has a message for you. And that's where the interpretation comes in. Because I had picked up a book years and years ago on dream interpretation. If you dream about this, it means that. Okay, no book on dream. And I bought one of these ones that was like this thick. Okay, if you're dreaming about a black cat, it means this. If you're dreaming about a car flying in the air, it means that. No, none of that is real. None of that is
Yes,
accurate, right?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's all symbolic, and we have to understand the symbolism. Now, that's for you and I, that's easy. For the average person, it isn't, because they haven't yet learned how to look at life symbolically. They're still looking through a very literal lens.
Yes.
How do we help them understand how to interpret a little bit more symbolically?
Well, one of the things I always say is after we write this down, go piece by piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what sometimes is, a subtle detail that we sweep over. So when the average person looks at it, they look for the big things that stand out. And sometimes it's, oh, my dad was here and, but he wasn't in good shape. And I noticed, where was he? Well, he was in a car somewhere and it was kind of an old car that we used to, okay. So when you said he wasn't doing well, what was going on with him? Well, he had a hard time breathing. But no, let me get to the next part. No, you have to understand and take each part. So,
Yeah.
what about the car? What color was the car? Can
Mm-hmm.
you remember that? Where was the car parked? A lot of this, well, it looked like, where I grew up as a kid. Okay. And what about your dad? What was he doing in the car? Well, he didn't seem very happy, kind of had like this face on, but that's not important. Well, it is. What he's probably taking you back to is the childhood,
Mm-hmm.
where you were and what he was experiencing in that childhood. Well, what does the car mean? Well, the car could just be a reflection of the past. If it's an older car, that could be in that time period.
Right.
And if
The
it
make
looked like your old house, that could have been where you were growing up and
Yes.
how he wants to reflect in that moment. Oh,
Yes. Yeah, the make and model of the car means
yes.
something. The expressions of people, including yourself, mean something. You have to look at how you're feeling in the dream. What are your feelings in the dream? That is the biggest tell-all of all, because you're dreaming something. And one of the first things I ask people is, tell me what you were feeling when you were dreaming about that. What was your feeling? And they'll say, well, I was either sad or I was really happy or I was nervous. The feelings in the dream also start to give us clues about what you need to process or what you need to heal, right? It's all messages.
All right. So we got some comments coming in.
Okay, good.
And what?
Because there's a little bit more information I want to give, but let's hear the comments first.
Okay, so we have our friend Yvonne. She says, my dreams often I am flying. I'm flying. Okay, so that could be, and we need a little bit more context, Yvonne. I know you say you're flying. Where did you start? Where are you going? What do you see when you're flying? Are you in a airplane? Are you just kind of flying like Peter Pan? And I don't mean that to be funny, but we kind of need to know the details because that's how everything means something in dream interpretation. Even the simplest, people say, well, there was a box and the hinge, the lock of the box was, and I said, okay, what kind of box? Well, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. Where were you holding the box? What about the box? What feelings did you have with the box? Because that's how we get to the nut and bolts of determining or deciphering or decoding the
Yeah.
dream. So we need a little bit more context with that, Yvonne. But from your experience, Pauline, what does it mean when somebody flies? And let's just kind of put Peter Pan, right? Kind of doing the whole arms out kind of flying.
So of course it depends on the person, right? So if I'm doing some dream interpretation, I know the person, right? And I kind of know a little bit of what they're going through. But oftentimes flying, and I know because I used to have a lot of dreams that I was flying or that I could fly when I was a child. It was representative of the need to be grounded, that you were too much in the air, too much in your head. There's a need to be grounded. Now interpretation, there can be many interpretations for a dream, not just one interpretation. So I mean that could be one interpretation. The other one could be trust yourself to rise higher, that you can fly, and that would be symbolically, not literally.
Mhm.
Okay. So it all depends on the feeling in the dream. And like you say, Richard, what were you flying over? And the
Yeah.
other question I would ask is, are you able to maintain flying, or do you need to come down? Oftentimes in my dreams when I was younger, I could fly, but I couldn't sustain it. I would get pulled down. I would get pulled back down to the ground, right? And I would be frustrated by that. So I had to kind of look at that and ask myself, what is that all about? Because sure, did I want to stay up there in the air and the thought and all that? Yeah, but I had to be pulled down to the ground. That's where you kind of have to go inward.
Yeah.
You can't just fly like a bird and everything's wonderful. Nope, you got to come back down to the ground. Even a bird has to come back down to the ground, right, to find food, right, to sustain itself. So there's a grounding element to that.
Excellent. So we also have someone, Natalie, and I find that this is going to be fascinating. And one of the things I did comment for Natalie was I needed some details to this. Okay. I dreamt about walking through through flood waters with dead mice.
Okay.
Now, I put where was the flood? Where were you going? What was going on with the mice? What maybe even what color were the mice?
Right.
Right? Because that can really determine if it's a little brown field mouse that could be connecting, things going on with nature.
Right.
Um,
Or was it a rat? And what was the feeling? Because water, big big impressions of water like that, whether it's waves or tsunami type things, or you're walking through floodwaters, is always symbolic of emotion, a lot of emotion. Water is always representative of emotion. So what feeling did you have in the dream, Natalie, as you were walking through these floodwaters and there were these dead mice around you? I mean, were you scared? Were you like, ew? What was your feeling?
mhm.
So there's
Yeah. So when you go to do this, remember all of the details, everything means something. And I
yeah.
think people really need to understand that. And then like, think of,
Mhm.
biology class, right? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. This is what we need to kind of see. Where were you when you hit the floodwaters? Where were the waters located? How did you get across? How long did it take you?
Mhm.
Why do you feel you were there? What
Yeah.
color were the mice? You see what I'm saying? And this is what I even do in mediumship when I'm doing a reading. You have to start asking these questions to get to
Yes.
the desired results.
Right. I could tell it's not literal. You're not going to be walking through flood waters with dead mice. So I hope that's a relief. But yeah, there's symbolism in there. So perhaps depending upon how you felt doing that, were you afraid? Were you confident? Did the mice bother you? Did they not bother you? All of that is an indication to the message of the dream. And certainly look at the emotions that you are either dealing with or suppressing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's really important to understand. Again, it's not the literal. It's not you're going to walk through mice, but I get a lot of times people get paralyzed by their dreams,
Yes.
especially dead mice. Oh my gosh, are things going to die around me? Am I going to be surrounded by death? No, that doesn't necessarily mean that. So we need to kind of have a little bit more context, but start paying attention to maybe the little things. One of the things that I do get is, maybe the little things around you, right? Because mice are small. Maybe the little things around you will be dying off, which means is you're starting to see big picture. You're
Mhm.
starting to really look for the goal, or not having the little things around you impact you on some level. And again, this is just a guess,
Right.
but you see how that can turn through the interpretation.
And the truth is, mice are really pretty harmless. If you look up the symbolism of mice, they like to live with other mice. They're blind. So, you've got to look up some of the symbolism of mice as well. They're really kind of cute little creatures.
No, they're not.
I think they are.
No, they're not. I've spent many past lives. One of my phobias are rodents of all kind.
Oh, oh,
Ferrets, gerbils, hamsters, guinea pigs, mice, you name it.
oh my God. Only rats for me. When I lived in my former home and my cats would go out onto the golf course, my one cat Tara, she would always bring a little tiny little field mouse. And oh my God, I would scoop up the field mouse with my gloves and I would give it some Reiki and I'd be like, "Oh, you're okay. Don't worry about it. She's not going to eat you. I'm sorry." And I would put it back outside. They're guinea pigs. I love them.
Yeah,
The only thing I don't like are rats.
yeah. I send all love to all of the rodents. But mice, being in central Pennsylvania and having, farmland behind us, it is a thing. I do have my little Prinny, she Jack Russell Dotson, and between that and my cat Blue, he's a mouser, so we're
Yeah,
safe, we're good. I
yeah.
don't have to worry about anything,
So
including rats.
Yeah, well, they're a little too big. But
Yeah,
let's talk about the mirror of the dream. Okay.
let's go for it.
Yeah, the mirror. So this is the other aspect, right? We're talking about the symbolism of the dream. That each component of the dream, each thing has some symbolic meaning, not
Yeah.
necessarily literal, at least not with regular dreams. But there's also this component of everything in that dream is you. Everything in that dream, that car, that water, that dead mouse, fly, everything in that dream, or if there's a person in there that you don't know, it's some aspect of you.
Hmm.
So if you have dreams where you are with, let's say, people, strangers that you don't know, so now you need to look at who was it, male, female, what were they doing? Each one of these is an aspect of you. Everything in that, an old beat up car sitting in the driveway, right?
Mhm.
A red Pontiac Le Mans. It's all representative of something within you. It's all a mirror to you. I mean,
Mhm.
I had somebody say to me when she had a dream, if I was, I don't know, I was doing something in the dream and she was like, "It was about you." And I was like, "It's not about me." I said, "You're not dreaming about me, like, bowling or no, no, this is about you. I just happen to be a mirror into you about something about you." So that the mirror piece is very interesting. So when I interpret my dreams, I look at them and I say, every aspect of this dream is a reflection of me in some way, some mirror, right? Because all the world is a mirror. Everything is a mirror. So that used to help me go very deep inside myself, especially if I had a dream I didn't like.
Mm. Well, and that's a really good point. So, how do we not get paralyzed by these dreams?
Well,
Mm.
understand they're messages. They're not literal. They're not literal. They're not meant to hurt you. They're meant to bring awareness of things
You
that need to be worked through.
know what I'm talking about because there are people that literally sometimes get paralyzed by the dream. Oh my gosh, there's dead mice everywhere. Or, this one, I saw this dying and flowers were dying all around me. Or, bird, crashed into the window. Or, my dad looks so unhappy. And they literally get stuck, right? So,
Well, I think people will get stuck if they interpret it literally. If they understand
yes.
that this is just like it's just a painting. It's just a message, and you have to understand the message. Now, I know people can get terrorized by nightmares, okay, by fearful dreams, and
Hmm.
people can get stuck in fearful, right? People are you're being chased, right? And you're being chased, or you see yourself fighting in a battle, and somebody stabs you or something. So those can even reflect something from past life. But we have to work through the feelings of the dream.
Yeah.
Because the feelings are, to me, one of the most important aspects of the dream. It shows the internal feelings that you have to yet heal or embrace. Flying high could mean power. So
Yeah.
it's very different. Every person is going to have a different interpretation, because it depends on who you are, where you are in your life, what you're experiencing, what the message is.
Yeah. So let me ask you a quick question. So I know we talked about like one of the things that you had mentioned, not taking it literal or being chased, right? So let's take, what do you think are some of the more common things that people experience in dreams? So chased is definitely one of them.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Um, well, listen, that's a fear. That's certainly a deep subconscious fear, which we all have as part of the ego structure, as part of being human. There are definitely deeper survival fears, always.
Yeah, I think one of the things too is with being chased is a lot of times I feel like, what are you running away from? What are you not confronting?
Mm-hmm.
What are you not dealing with in that aspect of your life? Okay. Another one. So we have a couple of questions. Our friend Cheryl, hi there. Where do dreams of past lives fit in? That's a great question. So, what if somebody, how do we know if it's a past life, or how do we know if it's just a dream that we need to figure out? And can they have similar messages?
Well, yes, yes, a past life dream, you would experience it as a very much of a lucid dream, okay, as almost like reliving something. And it would feel very, very real to you. And there is a difference between a lucid dream of really knowing that you just experienced something, or a dream, we call it a standard dream, because a standard dream oftentimes kind of doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? You got to put the pieces together. A past life will be, I feel, because I've had them, a very specific incident that you will experience in the dream state that feels very real. And when you wake up, you think, oh my goodness, where was I last night?
Mm,
So you could have been reliving a moment, 3 moments of a past life. And it feels very real, and it can chill you to the core. It can chill you. It's like there's a resonance about it. You kind
hmm,
of feel it's a part of you.
hmm.
Okay, so there can be that. And I just want to go back to like the being chased. So if we look at that of being chased as the two people in the dream, one is being chased, one is running, right? One is the chaser, one is the runner. What if both of those parts in the dream are you? It's your higher self running after your lower self, saying, I have a message for you. I need to talk to you.
Oh, right. Yeah,
What else?
I've actually had many dreams if regarding past lives, or um kind of like astral traveling to another where my life is, my soul is visiting somewhere else. And it's been
Yes.
very profound. I knew when I looked at it, I kind of woke up and I said, this is the feeling was different. It wasn't as inquisitive, it was more of affirming and
Mhm.
validating a
Mhm.
part of me. I felt like this was something bigger than what I understood. Instead of going through the inquisitive mind, I knew that there was something I needed to take away from this, but not inquisitive. It was almost like aha moment, right? So really watch your feelings and emotions and what is triggered, or what feeling do you get? And I don't want to use the word triggered in the negative sense, like triggered emotion or trauma, but like, what are you feeling? A sense of, that makes big sense, big picture, fulfillment. Or I wonder what that means. Does it? And you nitpick all the little things. They're very different. So
Mhm.
being aware of your feelings and emotions and what comes to the mind first, right? A lot of times if you take a moment as soon as you wake up, take a deep breath, kind of center and ground yourself and ask yourself, what was that? What did I experience? And then just take a moment and listen. Oh, that was a visitation. And we're going to get into why I'm saying this, because our next comment from our friend Susie in Long Island, Massapequa. Hey, Susie.
I
Um, so as far as my dreams go, I do get dreams with my loved ones saying hi or a message to me. It's very, very vivid. I know it's real, usually when I need the message at the time. Now, she's aware, right? And I
love it.
commented that it's definitely a visitation. So a lot of times we kind of sweep it under the rug. What is this? And, why am I dreaming about them? Because you need to know. And for her, she knows because she's aware in that moment. I needed to hear that message, and I
Yes.
heard the message. They gave me the answer.
And how beautiful that she
Yeah.
has that connection and that ability, all right, to actually speak to and spend time with your deceased loved ones.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Susie's very intuitive herself. She'll never admit, no, 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 yes, yes, yes. And she's very connected to her loved ones and spirits. So, but this is another example. And the dreams are the key.
Yeah.
The dreams are the key to unlock what the human mind in that moment can't figure out.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah. And it takes a little practice. It does take a little practice, but I think we're right on. I think the things that are most important initially, if you're trying to understand your dreams, is your feelings and thoughts in the dream, your emotions, and to realize that the dream, if it's not like you're communicating with your deceased loved ones, the people in your dreams and usually represent some aspect of you. All right, if they're not, well, doesn't matter if they're family or not. Everybody represents an aspect of you in your dream.
Yes.
And so, to maybe you need some help to work through it. But I think those are some of the key points. Now, I actually wanted to get to recurring dreams.
Okay.
Recurring dreams. All right. Recurring dreams is the same dream that happens. It could happen once a month, it could happen once a year, but whatever it has, the recurring dreams are profound messages that you have not yet resolved something. And that dream is going to keep happening until you figure it out. And I used to have a dream as a child, I used to have a recurring dream of drowning.
Mm.
But in my dream, I was able to, I have the ability to recognize that I'm dreaming and to tell myself you're dreaming. So just breathe. You're okay. You're not drowning. But I would have a recurring dream that I was drowning. And it wasn't until I worked with a healer many, many years ago, almost 30 years ago, that she actually tapped into the past life where I did drown.
Mm.
And it was after that that all the dreams of being underwater and not being able to breathe and drowning stopped. So it was a past life event where I was pushed and I drowned, And that part, that trauma was still sort of locked up in my soul. And it was through that healing that the dream stopped.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So has anybody else had a reoccurring dream? Leave a comment if you have, and maybe kind of briefly what it is. I know for many years, I used to have a dream. Um, I would fall. Okay. And I would just not fall on the ground, but I would be driving and the shoulder, there would always be like a, the edge and the car would fall over, or I would be on a cliff. Even though I was several feet from the edge, I would always fall over. Being in a building, getting off the elevator, I would fall and then kind of go down, or the edge of a building, I would always do. And one of the things was, and sometimes even though, and I was always very cautious in the dreams to make sure I was okay, kind of white knuckling whatever it was, right? And one of the things I realized was with my childhood was very traumatic. And I was always just hanging on by a thread. And every moment I never knew if I was going to fall or have something so catastrophic happen, which would cause something traumatic, right? And I kind of sat back later on and said, huh, it was my subconscious saying, I'm in a total fight or flight mode most of my time. And the dreams supported that, you know?
It showed you that that pattern
Absolutely.
was very anchored in.
Yeah. Yeah. And no matter what I did to secure myself, I would always fall. I would always fall, right? And it was kind of my childhood. No matter what precautions I took, would always be to my detriment mentally and emotionally.
And so did the dream stop, I assume?
It's eventually they stopped because I became more independent and I
Yeah.
had to kind of be on my own, even at a very, very early age. And we're talking like 15, you know. So
Yes.
when you look at these reoccurring dreams, it's your body's way of it's kind of like your GPS. They're giving you a message to navigate life, right? Now, real quick, I want to talk about if somebody needs a message, if somebody needs guidance, if somebody needs to have an answer that serves their highest and best, and they don't meditate, we're talking the average person that does, maybe doesn't have a spiritual practice, right? Um, because I get this question a lot is, how do I get those answers from my subconscious in the dream? Like, do I think about what I need to know and then go to sleep and play beautiful music to kind of get me to go into wherever? And do I rub essential oils on my third eye and wear warm clothes and I get this? Or, what do I do? Do I wear beads? Do I sleep with a crystal? And, I'm being kind of a little comical in this, but
Well,
I get a lot of this. I get a lot of this, tourmaline and, do I sleep with moldavite what do so what do they do? What is your suggestion? Because this is kind of your wheelhouse. This is what you do.
so, well, look, you can put oils on you, you can sleep with crystals, you can do all of that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think if you want a message from your subconscious, you keep a pad right next to your bed on your night table, and you write down the question, and you can say, dear higher self, what do I need to do about this? Or what is next for me? Or what am I supposed to be doing? Ask the question of the information that you want. And every night, go to sleep, read the question, thank your higher self for coming, thank your soul, thank your subconscious for giving you the answer, and just wait until it happens. I mean, your subconscious is alive. It's not buried anywhere. It's alive and ready and willing. So we just have to ask it, right? And the
Yep.
best place to ask it is before you go to sleep. So you're getting out of your own way, and perhaps the answers will come in the middle of the night, or usually just before you wake up.
Yeah. And remember, you don't have to make it extravagant. You don't have to write. Yeah.
What is she saying?
No, and you don't have to make it extravagant. You don't have to write a dissertation, and when I say this is if you have those questions before you go to sleep, right? Use the KISS method, right? Instead of keep it simple, sleepy. Like, I mean, it's that simple, or keep it simple and spiritual. Like, it's just meat and potatoes kind of thing, or Twix and Milky Way, because we're at Halloween. Um,
And
and
I
by the
love
way, a
this.
lot of people like your idea of the truffles and the chocolatier stuff, because Susie did comment, I like this when I was younger. Now I like Godiva. I like,
Yeah.
Lint. I like all the good, nice stuff. So,
Dark chocolate almond bark. How's that, Susie? Dark chocolate almond bark.
she did. She said, I like the nuts.
Yes.
I like it with
Yeah.
nuts, covered almonds or nuts. Uh, and I'm not going back to Snickers anyway.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I haven't had, no, I gotta have the real stuff by the chocolatier. There's something about going into a chocolate shop that is just magical. So, but I just want to say one other thing too. I think I'm going to take my own advice. I haven't done the notepad on the night table with the questions in a long time, and I think I'm going to do that. So, I mean, and answers come to me anyway. But I think that's sort of fun. So I think I'm going to experiment with that myself. And I also want to say that I like what you said, Richard, how the body is talking to you. Another recurring dream that I used to have as a child was I used to walk with a limp, and
hmm,
is in my dream. And I used to dream that I was wearing one of those shoes, orthotic shoes that had the lift. It was on one leg. And I used to dream about this all the time. And of course, I don't have a limp. But when I finally started going to a chiropractor, okay, in my 30s, he said to me, your hips are uneven. He said,
hmm,
he goes, you're about a half inch off, quarter to
hmm.
a half inch off. And he corrected it. And so our bodies are talking to us. Our subconscious is talking to us. So just know that it all means something. It's not nothing. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's just a dream." Oh, it's a message.
Yeah. And I would take that as kind of like, when we have a physical impairment or we perceive ourselves as having a physical impairment or a limitation or disability, right? Or an imperfection, I
Mhm.
would say, what is keeping you from being your authentic self?
Right.
What in your life is keeping you, or who is keeping you, or what traumatic experience is stopping you from being your true self?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because if I take everything you just said and I look at the hips that were out of alignment, all right, which were energetically corrected by the chiropractor, the hips symbolically move us forward. So what was it back then as a child that what was not allowing me to move forward? Because the issue was in the hips, even though I was dreaming about it as one leg was maybe shorter than the other. Well, literally, actually physically, it was tiny, but nothing that ever affected me. That was corrected. But the symbolism part was also very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it's all about the symbolism. It's not about the facts. The details are important, but it's really what does the symbolism and what does it represent? That is the key to unlock the questions that we have going on
Yeah.
in our life. I love
Yeah.
this topic. We could keep going all
We
day
can
long
keep
because
going.
it's
I
that
just,
fascinating and that
yes,
important because
yeah,
again, one of the things, really be aware to the details. I keep my phone and I use, Samsung Notes, and I will kind of just start typing right away into the phone. A
mhm,
lot of things come in the middle of the night for me. Um, so again, utilize whatever vessel you need, whether it's a journal, and everybody should have a journal on some level. Because again, even if you don't need to have you just got to get stuff out. Stuff has to come out of the subconscious.
yeah,
So I think that's always a great idea, but keep it next to your bed.
yeah,
Ask the question, whatever you need, and then allow yourself to receive it without getting in your own way.
yeah. I think the final thing that I just want to say, and this is very quick, is prophetic dreams. So when people dream about what's going to happen. Now, what I want to say about prophetic dreams is they're really only like potentially 1 to 2% of your dreams. So the chances of a person having a prophetic dream of what is literally going
Mhm.
to happen is rare, very rare. It can happen, but it is not common. It is not something, because we would have to be able to handle having a prophecy, having a prophetic dream. And most people are not equipped for that.
Hmm. Yeah, I get a lot of when I mentor people, a lot of times I have students that will get um catastrophic end of days visions or dreams. Something big is going to happen. I have one that I'm working with now, and she says, she said, I have family going to the panhandle of Florida, and I see this massive hurricane coming, and kind of like really just destroying things. And this was about 2 weeks before, I think it was what, Helene that went into North Carolina, and then
Yes.
and she saw it. And literally when it happened, she was like, "You see?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yep, no, you
Well,
nailed it."
that she had a prophetic dream. They're
Yeah.
they are more rare, but listen, if you have something like that, then prepare, right? Prepare for it. So, and I hope her family and everybody was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we
It,
can
it's
have them, but they're not. You have to be truly very very psychic. I'm assuming this young lady is very psychic.
She is.
Yeah,
She is. And very dialed
yeah,
into, and we get people, that get this. And
yeah.
we can kind of talk about even that too, because that's a whole nother thing. Especially people that get dreams of when loved ones are going to die and things of that nature, and that could keep going. But I think this has been very fascinating.
Yep.
I know a lot of people, we now know what some of our listeners
What they're dreaming.
what their favorite confection is,
Mhm.
and then what they're dreaming. And I think this is very interesting. Thank you for sharing your experience, and thank you for everybody out there sharing, what
Yes.
you go through, because, to say I fly, or, past life stuff, or even a flood with walking within mice, we feel very vulnerable, or we feel like I can't say this because I'm crazy. You're never crazy, and the dreams are never crazy. What they are is a gateway to understanding it, and that's all it is. That's all this is.
Yeah. It's a tool. It really is a tool. It's a skill that we can all develop and use.
Yes. Yes. And I love it. All right. So, Pauline, what do you have going on? I know we're coming around to holiday time and the end of the year.
Yep.
So what do you have going on? How can people reach you? Happy Halloween, Michael. You know.
Happy Halloween, Miguel.
So what do you have going on? How can people reach you? or if they have questions about dreams or need a consultation.
Absolutely. You can reach me through my website, paulinerafaela.com. You do have to log in because sometimes I have really super meditations up there that are for my members and my people. So just contact me through my website. And I'm blessed to be booked through the end of the year with private sessions and salt caves. But I do want to let everybody know I am going to have a very powerful year-end, New Year online event. And it's going to be on Sunday, December 29th. There'll be more details on that. I'm going to be talking about the energy of 2025, the timelines. There will be an incredible energy upgrade. Just like we did the Lion's Gate, this stuff will push you right up onto your next timeline. Powerful, powerful stuff. December 29th. It's going to be a Sunday. And you just have to get on my events calendar and you'll get the invite.
I love it. And if you haven't experienced one of her events, I highly recommend you do. Very, very impactful, very powerful. So for myself, we have a lot going on. We just had a class last night, how to leave a narcissistic relationship when you're trapped and stuck.
How did that go?
It was amazing and it was unbelievable. And you would be shocked how many people, really don't know the way out and
Yes.
don't feel like they can kind of empower themselves
Yes.
to even if they choose to stay, how they can make it fit their narrative. So what we're doing is that, we have now Hurting to Healing coaching, transformational healing coaching, helping people go from where they are to where they want to be in all aspects, from business, personal, healing journeys, you name it. It has been absolutely unbelievable and taking off. We do have another class. You can go to my Facebook or my website, hurtingtohealingcoaching.com, and you can see the events. I do have one in about 2 to 3 weeks, and it's about the empath finding their voice, how to open up the throat chakra and finally be heard, which is very common, especially with people I sit with in readings. Also to book readings, we have a flash sale coming up for All Souls Day or All Saints Day this Saturday. So stay tuned to Facebook. And then we do have December. There is an event. We are back in the Wilbur. It's a chocolate factory. Speaking of confections, it's an amazing place. It is my last one for the year and probably for a very long time at that location, just because focusing on some other things. So we do have a guest coming up on November 14th. For all of our paranormal fans, stay tuned. More information to come. But this is exciting, and I've experienced working with this person, and it is unbelievable, the stuff that happens.
I can't wait to meet her and hear about this paranormal experiences. Wow.
Yes, I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone. Have a happy and safe, happy Halloween. Have a safe Halloween. Eat the good stuff. Treat yourself. And if it's Snickers, it's Snickers. If it's Godiva or a chocolatier, go for it. You live once, right?
Eat a truffle or two.
Eat a truffle or two. I love it. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much. Much love.
Thank you all so much. And remember, the light of your soul is what illuminates the world with love.
Yes.
Namaste.